Hello and welcome to Brewskis and Housekeys. My name is Nicole Kostelecki.
And I'm Nick Papantanakis.
And we are here in Old Town Arvada at our RE/MAX Alliance office.
On
Veterans Day.
Veterans Day.
Yes. Yes. Salute to them.
Salute to veterans, and we can even layer in, so proud to be an American. I don't know if we can do that.
That was pretty good.
That's copyright related, I'm sure. So
oh, yeah.
Can't do
Be
that.
careful about that.
It's like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's true. I got it. Yes.
And it was probably off key, so I think we're fine.
Guaranteed. Okay. We can auto-tune that later, right?
They'll email you like, please don't.
You're not in trouble just for the sake of everyone.
Cease and desist.
Yeah. Yep.
Veterans Day, a very exciting, it's just happens to be that we are recording this on Veterans Day. Obviously, when you're listening to this, it will be after, but just a very important day in our eyes to be respectful and remind us of those that have served.
Yep, and thank them for their service. So.
Including our very own podcast engineer, producer, extraordinaire, Nico. So happy Veterans Day, sir.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers, Wilson.
He's our Wilson.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it is also my parents' dog, our family's dog, 15th birthday.
Whoa.
Yeah. Kona.
First of all, it's impressive that you know that.
I know. Well, it's on Veterans Day, so it always kind of coincides.
Very nice.
Yeah.
What kind of dog is this that's lasting 15 years?
A mix. So she's a beagle, blue heeler, and a black lab. Wow. Yeah.
That's quite the blend.
Little mutt. We got her from a farm.
What size are we talking here? How big is she?
I don't know. Not too super big.
She's cute.
She is cute.
I'll put a picture up of her.
Perfect. What's her name?
Kona.
Happy birthday, Kona.
Kona.
One of my favorite beers.
Yes.
That ties in so well. It's like you planned it. I love that.
What you drinking, Nick?
Well, speaking of beer, let's talk about it. So this is beer from a lovely place called Westbound and Down, a Colorado local brewery. Started up in Idaho Springs. I don't remember when they launched, but since then they've opened 2 more locations. They've got one in downtown Denver in the Dairy Block.
I didn't know that.
Set up.
I thought they were just up in Idaho Springs.
I thought so too. We, my wife and I took my daughter to the location in Lafayette recently, which I didn't know about until then either. But then as I was doing some research today, I found out that they also have that down in the Dairy Block. So they're expanding. Really pretty tasty beer. My first experience was in Idaho Springs too. And it's, really cool spot right there in downtown Idaho Springs.
Yep.
Very delicious menus at all their different locations, or at least the 2 I've been to. Up there, they're right next door to the Buffalo Bar. And anybody that knows Colorado, the Buffalo Bar has been there forever and a day in Idaho Springs. And they, it's the first place I think I ever had a buffalo burger in my life. And my brain was forever exploded.
Changed.
Oh, gosh.
I like buffalo burgers.
Oh,
those are good.
Just the best. And so they serve their menu in the brewery, which is pretty cool. So you can still get that food and this beer.
Nice.
Pretty sweet stuff.
It's a good spot to stop if you are stuck in traffic coming home from skiing and just want to take a break.
It's true.
Have a beer.
Did you guys, when you would go skiing when you were younger, did you always stop in Idaho Springs?
Yeah. We would usually stop at Bojo's, I feel.
Same.
That was a staple.
Yep. We would always do Bojo's. We'd maybe get McDonald's on the way up.
Right.
Bojo's on the way down. But now, as an adult, I'm more likely to go.
Yeah. They weren't up there when, you don't remember when.
No, it's relatively recent. It's
Yeah.
within the last 10 years, I think.
They weren't there when I was raft guiding in Idaho Springs.
Okay.
But I wish they were.
It would have been nice.
Yeah. Which one are you drinking?
So this one, I think, is a little bit of a special edition one. It's their coffee porter, made with coffee from Sweet Bloom Coffee Roasters, which is a local coffee roaster too. They've got a couple locations down around the metro area. Really tasty. It's definitely got the, we'll call it the kind of beer I want on a cold day.
Yeah.
It's warming me from the inside out. It's not crazy high alcohol content, but it's malty. You can taste a little bit of that coffee on the back end. And I think it was described as syrupy and viscous when I was pouring it. And that's definitely kind of the mouthfeel. Yeah.
Yes.
She thick. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I am drinking, speaking of thick, the juice Caboose.
Oh, I didn't think anything could top the polar bear joke. That actually did it for me right there.
Well, that's good.
Outstanding.
But this is just a juicy IPA, hazy, and I really like it. Well, we always like the IPAs, the juicy IPAs, but this one has some fruit notes to it, so fruity and delicious.
And it gets the job done at, what is it? How many little percentages you got there?
7.2.
So that'll work.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
And it's a cool little tie-dye label.
And definitely a cool place to check out. They've got a little off the side of the brewery. They've got a little shop where you can buy kind of their swag and their shirts and their hats and different stuff like that. But then they sell a lot of smaller batch stuff at the actual brewery too. So you can get some collaboration, different beers and stuff in 4-packs and cans. So definitely worth checking out.
Is that at the Lafayette one too, or just the one in?
Yeah, they have cool stuff there. They sell their mugs and they sell 4-packs of stuff, and definitely worth checking out. These were found at my favorite little local spot, Molly's. So, not so little place for beer.
It says elevating adventure since 2015.
There we go. Boom.
Thank you.
So they're celebrating their 7-year birthday too. So, so in I guess in spirit of Veterans Day, we're dubbing this episode Pints and Patriots. I like that a lot.
I know.
That's
It's a good one. I think Nico came up with
that.
Always.
Someone
if
creative.
It's clever, it's Nico, So we're going to kind of talk about basically different types of programs that, whether in the housing market or honestly just within our country as well and our state, that we have for veterans. So, to start out, main one is a VA loan. So a lot of veterans I shouldn't say a lot, but I know some people that don't know about this. But if you're a veteran, then you can get a VA loan, which basically you don't have to put any money down. And it also typically has one of the lowest interest rates when it comes to the different types of loans. So as long as you can qualify for a loan, it's definitely a great thing for veterans.
Absolutely. And we've talked about it a lot, but if you are thinking about it, you definitely need to talk to that trusted lender to know exactly what this program can look like for you as a veteran. I think, we talk about the interest rates. We talk about them a lot on the market updates and 7 point whatever it is. The VA loans are going to probably fall below that kind of generic number that we mention a lot. So I think it's an important thing to note. It's a huge benefit.
Yes, very big, very big. Another thing, when you do a VA loan, they do an extra inspection along with the appraisal. So just make sure that since it's a government-backed loan, that the house is in good working condition and it has, railings in place where they need to be. Make sure that it's painted. So keep that in mind, because there are some houses that don't fall under that category and maybe can't be backed by a VA loan. So
yeah, and it definitely changes kind of the search process a little bit. So it's very important as someone who's looking to buy.
Yeah. You still have to have earnest money.
Yes. You put down the earnest money, but depending on, so the deposit, once you go under contract, we've talked about earnest money before, but then you go through the whole process, and I've known some people that actually got checks back at the end.
Yep.
Just at closing, so.
Yep, it's a great opportunity and program out there for home ownership for those that have served. So it's a big deal. Coupled with that a little bit is something called an IRRRL or EARL, which stands for.
My name is Earl.
Which sure is fun to say, but stands for Interest Rate Reduction Refinance Loan. So what that is if you are one that has used the VA loan to purchase a home. You can actually use this to reduce your interest rate as a refinance option. It's an ability to refinance that can, obviously the goal there would be to potentially move that rate down if the rates drop, which they tend to do the roller coaster thing where they'll go up and they'll go down. This is how you would be able to do that refinance. Another cool piece of this that I found when I was doing research for this is that if for some reason you have, you're a veteran that didn't use your VA loan and you have an adjustable rate mortgage, or they're called ARMs, which are typically, a smaller amount than 30 years, you can actually use this EARL to refinance that to a fixed rate loan. So that's a nice bonus there as well. So you can, if rates do drop to a favorable number for a fixed rate, you can capture that with this as well, which I think
that's great.
That's huge. And then also, as far as the VA loan goes, there's a piece of the puzzle called entitlement, and that is just the veteran's ability to use that VA loan in the first place. And using this IRL does not negatively impact the veteran's entitlement, so the ability to use the loan. So that's a nice bonus too. Speaking of entitlement, just for those, if you are a veteran that is not sure what that looks like for you, it basically that is defined as your ability to use the VA loan in the first place. And in order to have what's called full entitlement, you have to qualify for at least one of their criteria. And the criteria are you've either never used your home loan benefit before, you've never done the VA loan before, or you've paid a previous VA loan off in full and sold that home. That's another criteria. Or 3, you've used that home loan benefit before and had a foreclosure or short sale, but you've been able to repay that benefit in full. So there's options to be able to keep that entitlement full so that you can then use that again in your next purchase. So
got it. So you have to make sure you've done those things.
Yeah, at least one of those is how it reads on the government's website. So there's ways to really make it user friendly still, which is good, I think.
Yeah. Nice. And then, I guess in the spirit of November, so we also just had our election. And one of the items that Colorado passed by a lot, by 87%.
Huge.
So a huge amendment to our Constitution was allowing property tax exemption for qualifying veterans to extend to their spouses if the veteran died in line of duty.
Which is a gigantic deal. I mean, that was such a huge ballot measure, and to have that pass, not just pass,
but by a lot. That was like the one thing that we kind of all came together on, like 87%. That's great.
Which tells you it probably just makes sense.
Yes.
I mean, it's obviously very logical, but it's a huge benefit. I agree. I think that's incredible, and it's a nice way to have the state looking out for those that serve and their families. Another obvious, diverting from the housing piece a little bit, talking about, ways that being a veteran can also, you can use those benefits after the fact is the GI Bill that can help you, be able to pay for some or all of your college, graduate school or training program tuition, depending on the institution and depending on, where you're looking to go. It can potentially pay for all of it.
Right.
It just varies. But that's something to just keep in the back of your mind as well. There's also a post 9/11 GI Bill that benefits men and women that served by giving money for things like housing, books, and supplies. Right. So there's added benefits too.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
A couple other things. So as a veteran, you can go to any military base, and shop tax-free. Did you know that?
I did not know
If they
that.
have a post.
If they have a post. Okay.
A PX or a BX.
A PX or a BX.
Post exchange or base exchange.
I learned that from Nico, hence why he's telling us right now what it is. So
it's
good.
Nice. Yeah, you go. It's just like any other, like a Costco, I guess.
Okay.
Grocery store. They have a little bit of everything, and yeah, it's tax free. There's no.
Are they all over?
Just every major base has got to have some sort of post exchange.
Okay.
Base exchange. The nomenclature is based on the branch, So the Air Force always called it a BX, the base exchange. And I think everyone else called it the post exchange.
I had a friend in college whose dad was ex-Air Force, like 30 plus years in the Air Force, and they lived in Colorado Springs. Her parents did, and they would go to the BX regularly for especially alcoholic beverages.
I was just gonna say that.
Actually, but a lot. I mean, that's where they did their shopping. They would make the drive, and it was a little bit of a trek from where they lived, but they would do it. It was worth it to them to do it. So, yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
They also have VA benefits for health coverage and certain hospitals as well that are VA hospitals. So,
also a huge program. So, and also in the spirit, I think it'd be fun to hear if there's been any folks, either of us, if you've been able to help that have served. Yeah. In the real estate life.
I've actually helped quite a few. So,
really?
yeah. I've had the privilege, which is awesome. So I had this one couple that they bought a house, and I mean, I guess both of these were kind of when everything was moving very fast, right? So one of them, the house was sitting on the market for a little while, which wasn't normal. So it's been on for like a month or so. Now that was
a lifetime back then, by the way.
Yeah. But they had a tenant in it. And so we were able to kind of squeeze the buyers in to do a showing. And they liked it. They put in an offer. And they got the house, which was amazing. And these were the ones I was saying that they actually got a check at closing.
That's huge.
Yeah, because they put down their earnest money. And they also got the roof replaced.
Whoa.
Which was great because they needed to do that with the inspection I was talking about that comes with the appraisal. And then got a check at closing. So it was awesome.
That's a really big thing to note, I think, coming away from that story too, is that when the market was moving so fast, people that were shopping with a VA loan,
they were having a hard time getting under contract, which was too bad.
Yes.
It was.
Absolutely.
But people were taking those offers that didn't require that inspection, that extra appraisal inspection.
Yeah, when the sellers were in the driver's seat, to some degree, those VA buyers were kind of pushed to the bottom of the pile a lot of times just because of that.
The government back loans, FHA,
yeah.
VA, yes.
I will say, though, that during that time, too, it was nice to meet the occasional seller that said, oh, well, I'm a veteran, and I noticed that your buyer is,
also
my agent pointed out that your buyer is using a VA loan, so I would love to talk to you guys. Like, that was cool to see, too.
Yeah.
I didn't experience it, but Dad did, and so it was cool to hear that from one of his clients. But I got the opportunity, actually pretty recently, to help two veterans that are brothers sell their family home in Arvada, which was really cool.
Oh, is that?
That was the one, over by Arvada West. And they, it was really interesting because all throughout the house, when we went there for the initial appointment, it was like a museum to their time of service and then their father's time of service as well.
That's
it was
awesome.
Really cool to see medals and old photos. And, it was very inspiring to see that. And one of them, the one that, not the one that was living here, but the one that's out of state, he actually is a reenactor, paratrooper. So he's still at the age of 50 and change, 50 something, jumps out of airplanes on a regular basis.
Like the Bronco games?
Well, kind of. But instead of parachuting into a stadium full of half inebriated people, I think they'll land and do actual like reenactments of certain drops they had to do. And they jump out of some of the old prop planes too, like some of the really cool old planes,
like
kind of the ones
P-38s.
like the P-38 that we talked about in the Flight Go episode there. Kind of tie that one back there. Actually, that's true. But anyways, he sent me photos and a video of them doing one of their things, and just they're in some of them they've done. They're just like World War II jumps. So they're in old World War II uniforms. It's really, really cool. And they were
probably newer parachutes, I would assume.
I think so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I
should have asked him that, actually, now that I think about it.
Did you know that during, I think it was World War II, women's nylons were scarce because nylon was used for paracord, and it was all consumed up by the military at that point. So it was a commodity. If you had nylons, that was something special.
Wow.
But it all went to parachutes at the end during that time.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is very interesting. Thanks, Nico.
Wow. So anyway, very cool to help those guys out too, and just have that connectivity for them with their dad serving, and then just I don't know. It was really, really special to be able to help them out too.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah. So Veterans Day, please thank a veteran if you know one.
Yes.
Definitely.
Go find one to thank. If you don't, I'm sure they're out there.
Buy them lunch.
I know they are.
Buy them a beer, buy them lunch, do something.
You got your flags out on your front?
I do.
Sure do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Always.
It's just a little, I don't have like a full flag like holder, so it's just a little guy. It's out there.
Yeah.
Sure is.
Mine's out.
And that kind of wraps us up. So thank you to everybody for listening. As always, we appreciate it. And Westbound and Down, you've done well. We appreciate the beer. It's delicious. Got to go check them out. We'll throw their address and their website in on the notes. And as always,
wait, how many downloads do we have?
Oh my gosh, that's right.
Yeah.
So actually, this is a cool note. We launch our episodes every Thursday, and with the launch of the market update for October, we eclipsed, meaning we went past 200 downloads of the podcast. So thank you to everybody, who has subscribed and is downloading it and listening to it. We love you. We appreciate you. Tell your friends and give us feedback and all that good stuff, because we want to keep this ball bouncing. It's fun.
Yes, agreed.
But please, if you haven't already, subscribe. Get those downloads every week, and like us and reach out to us on Instagram if you want to say hey. We'd definitely love to hear from you. And as always, team, job well done.
Here's to our fans.
Woohoo!